Hey there, and welcome. We're about to tackle something that, for a lot of us, can feel, a little intimidating everyday math. But I promise you, by the end of this, you'll see it's not some monster. It's actually a simple, powerful tool that you can use anytime with total confidence.
So be honest for a second. Does seeing something like this in a recipe give you a little bit of a pause? Maybe you're trying to double it or figure out a sale price, and your brain just kind of freezes for a second? Yeah, that feeling, it's completely normal. Today, we're going to make those moments feel totally effortless. All right, so our journey starts with two tools you definitely already know, but we're going to look at them in a totally fresh way. When it comes to handling bigger numbers, it all boils down to multiplication and division. Let's just reframe how we think about them. This breaks it down perfectly. Just think of it like this. Multiplication is basically cloning. You're just making identical copies of a group to make it bigger. And division? That's just sharing. You're taking a big group and splitting it up into smaller equal piles. Cloning and sharing? Seriously, that's the core of it. Okay, let's make this real. We're going to put that cloning idea into practice with a classic party problem. So you've got a rule, a ratio. For every group of 8 guests that walks in the door, you need 3 pizzas. Simple enough, right? So the real first step is just figuring out, okay, how many groups of 8 do I have if 24 people are coming? Once you know that, you can just clone your pizza order for each group. So take a second. What do you think the answer is? And there it is, 9 pizzas. See, with 24 guests, you have 3 groups of 8, right? 8, 16, 24. And since each group needs 3 pizzas, you just clone that order 3 times. 3 times 3 gets you 9. Look at that. You just solved a real-world problem with simple math. All right, let's grab our next tool. We're diving into fractions. But listen, forget all those complicated rules you might remember from school. For what we need, fractions are just a super simple way to talk about parts of a whole thing. That's it. This is really the only definition you need to hang on to. A fraction isn't some scary math problem. It's just a label for a piece of something bigger, whether that's a pizza, a paycheck, or, in our next case, a bag of sweets. So let's use a classic example to work through this. Imagine you've got a whole bag with 20 sweets in it, and you just want to find one part out of 4, or 1/4 of the bag. And here is the secret weapon. It's a simple 2-step formula that works every single time. First, you just divide the total amount, in this case 20, by the bottom number of the fraction, which is 4. Then you take that answer and you multiply it by the top number. Let's try it. Okay, so 20 divided by 4 is 5. And then 5 times 1 is, well, it's 5. So 1/4 of 20 sweets is 5 sweets. And that 2-step process, it works every single time for any fraction you run into. It's really that straightforward. Okay, you've got the tools, you understand cloning and sharing, and you've got that 2-step process for fractions down. Now, like we promised, we're going to hit you with more and more examples. Let's really lock these skills in with some rapid-fire, real-world problems. First up, we're in the kitchen. You're baking, and you got to double a recipe that asks for a 1/2 cup of flour. Well, doubling something, that's just our cloning tool, isn't it? You're just making 2 copies. So, what do you get when you have 2 clones of 1/2 cup? Think about it. 2 halves of something make a 1 whole cup. Exactly. See? You just multiplied a fraction in your head without even breaking a sweat. It's way more intuitive than you think. Let's try another one. Okay, next up, let's bring out our sharing tool, division. You've got 12 amazing cookies, and you need to share them out equally with 3 friends. This is division in its purest form. You're just splitting 12 cookies into 3 equal groups. So how many cookies is each person going to get? 4. Of course, each friend gets 4 cookies. You do this kind of simple division all the time without even thinking of it as math. Now, for our final example, we're going to combine our tools for something super practical. This store sale. This is the ultimate real-world math test, right? The shirt is $40, but it's on sale for 1/4 off. And guess what? This is the exact same 2-step process we used for the bag of sweets. So how much money are you actually saving here? Remember the 2-step rule. Divide the total amount, $40, by the bottom number, 4, then multiply by the top number, 1. You've got this. $10, boom, 40 divided by 4 is 10, and 10 times 1 is still 10. You just used fractions to literally put money back in your pocket. How awesome is that? So what's the big takeaway from all this? The point is, these aren't just math problems on a worksheet, these are actual life skills. And when you start to think of them this way, they stop being a chore and start feeling like a secret superpower. So let's boil it all down to your new simplified toolkit. You're going to use multiplication when you need to scale something up, our cloning tool. You'll use division when you need to share something out, and you'll use fractions anytime you need to find a piece of a whole. That's the whole shebang right there. So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you're splitting a bill with friends, or adjusting a recipe, or trying to figure out if that sale is really a good deal, you're not going to hesitate. You have the tools. So what everyday problem are you going to solve first?